And I went through like the. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unthink Me podcast with James and Adam right now on the Sunday morning. Good to have you here today. Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
Good to have you here.
Hope everyone's well.
It seems like they're not. We're right here around Christmas, and everyone seems to be having a hell of a time. Not everyone. That's a gross exaggeration due to personal prejudice and biases. I just mean, I think people are feeling a little despondent right now, and we hope to bring a little bit of cheer and sunshine into your life. So with the chakras, we're looking at the kind of a developmental level system that pertains to like the somatic relationship of mind and body, and finding correlations between organ systems and physical sensations that you're feeling right now, and the types of motivations and emotions and thoughts that arise from those levels, which can be thought of as stages similar to altitudes. And then we next took this concept and applied it specifically to altitudes so that you can try and see what altitude you're expressing right now or feeling or thinking right now, which might seem weird if you're used to looking at spiral dynamics and altitudes in a more conventional way. We often look at the social picture or look at it in terms of personal growth over a long period of time. It's much less common to use this model or a stage model to look at like how I'm acting right now and how that changes, and how the people that I'm interacting with are acting right now and how that changes, and what causes it to change.
Even just any sort of situation whatsoever. So it being the holidays, I think it apt to start with the holiday season. Adam coming from a sort of more Jewish background, and myself coming from an agnostic that chose to celebrate Christmas background. Holy Moses. Orange comes out quite a bit, I'd say, during the holidays. We need material things, and we need to be better than the Joneses down the street.
Yeah, we actually have,
I think,
Black Friday now is the official orange meme celebration of the year.
Yeah, Orange Meme has a holiday. It's called Black Friday.
We should call it Orange. Orange is the new Black Friday. That was tough.
You like it?
That was thick.
I like it.
Density in that product. Gosh, looking at altitudes today in terms of, well, this might be a good way to use it, right? Like a holiday might cause an altitude change. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that one of the ways that we can really use this in the workplace or in our own personal lives is as you mentioned, in conflict management. I mean, that's where it becomes really painfully obvious, because you have very rapid changes and very unexpected changes to where you're coming from. And so hopefully we can kind of take some, hypothetical examples and try and break down like what it feels like for me, what it feels like for you, what it might feel like for anyone to switch memes. The idea is you want to be expressing the highest altitude you can. Generally, you want to try and express the highest altitude that you can express in that moment or that you're capable of, but there may be pressures that are driving that downward, upwards, sidewards. And so a person might ask themselves, as a compatibility measure, maybe I should go down, to meet the stage that I'm encountering or that's being expressed now. So this is a question, an open question of dynamics. Like, do we regress to meet the meme we're at, or in a more second tier sense, are we sort of faking that? Are we playing a role in an integrated meshwork, authentically or inauthentically? But in either case, it's sort of seen as a regression to a first tier position. And so it's like the reason we might do that is to maximize compatibility. Like, I'm worried you might think I'm a second tier weirdo or some kind of ideological nut job. So I just pretty much do communicational convergence. I just mimic your behaviors and mirror your behaviors, because that is a simple way to maximize compatibility.
I feel like mostly that comes natural.
Not for
To meet the
everybody,
energy,
but yeah, not for everybody.
meeting the not the staying second tier, but just sort of meeting the opponent in this case where they're at. Uh, Kind of just happens whether you
Yes,
intend to or not. That's kind of the easy. I don't say easy. It's sort of the automatic thing to do.
totes.
And when I mean we were talking about it coming up to leading up to this episode about situations that have happened, and you know you go in with a clear mind. You're trying to stay second tier in the argument, disagreement, whatever friction. Um, you kind of come off as an asshole to the other person. Like you're not even listening. You're not even listening to me. Well, yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying. You are now regret the antagonist is regressing to try to win a fight. They're probably going to red, and I don't know the colors of altitudes well enough to put it on that scale, but probably going to red. And so there's not a lot of logic there. It's I win, you lose. It's fight or flight, and I've chose to plant my feet and fight. So I'm going to stay in red. I'm going to keep my voice raised until I figure what the hell's going on here. Um, and if you try to logically work through this, the red looks at it kind of as pandering, or
Yes, yes, yeah.
you're like on this ivory tower, like, oh, okay, you're just better than everything. You're not even listening. You're just being an asshole. Well, no, but in the situation, they can't see that, and
Well, and
maybe
they
you
don't
can,
see
maybe
it
you can't.
as being on an ivory tower as much as seeing it as being a douchebag, like just being
Yeah,
weird or
yeah,
yeah.
you're talking down to me.
But
Well,
it is, yeah.
honestly, I kind of am.
You're just trying to be different. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not even listening. Like that's the one. That's the one. Um, you've processed, you've listened, and you're on the next thing already, and they feel that they haven't been heard. Um, in the workplace, in relationships, in family matters, everyone's had arguments with siblings, cousins, someone of the same age. You try to take the higher ground. Like I'm gonna take the higher ground. I'm gonna just listen to what they say and talk through this and take the logical approach. You're a douchebag. To them,
Yeah, yeah.
it's complicated. What a
Um
hard line to walk.
I've had like green meme as green meme expressing in situations. It's funny how you'll have someone mad at you for not regressing, like because they see you as like you're not present with them. You're not like in the you're like
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck do you know? You're being too abstract. You're being too self controlled, and they see that as like inauthentic or dishonest or cowardly in
Yeah,
general.
somehow you don't care.
Like you feel like you're
I
in
care so
control.
much
Yeah.
that I'm trying to like control this thing, and the red coming at you is like, yeah, they don't even care.
Yeah, they're not even engaged with this. And it's the same
Just
with
yeah.
people beneath orange will generally be like see orange and consider it like heartless, compassionless, uncharitable, uncaring, unbrotherly or what have you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, you just don't understand. It literally is because I do care about people that I'm being abstract and reasonable. It's not dialectics. A thing appears to be its opposite in these cases. And yeah, so like the word asshole applies to every altitude. We generally think of the asshole character as being a red meme character because it's so, on the nose. And the assholishness is strictly selfish and strictly like
Mm-hmm.
not thinking too far ahead with a big time horizon. But each new capacity creates a new capacity for immoral behavior according to its own rules, and immoral behavior according to other rules is more what you get in trouble for. And so, like, the green meme assholishness, it's both falsely accused of being overly abstract and impersonal, and it's also correctly accused of being false and impersonal or overly meta or overly compassionless. So there's it's because that values do arise from all these different altitudes that from one altitude. If you're being moral, you might be being immoral at another altitude. And so now you have this extreme labyrinth of morality. The general prescription is, greatest depth for the greatest span. So the highest stage, maximize utility of the highest stage. Just a possible rule of thumb for negotiating these moral issues that arise as morality changes as stages change. Stages of morality.
So, bringing it away from an argument and just sort of into an uncomfortable thing that might come up in the holidays. I've experienced this somewhat recently. Is people, there's two types of people. What do you want for Hanukkah, or what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for whatever you gift exchange you have? And I already got you something. What are you gonna get me? It's like I've seen both things happen in the last couple weeks, and both of them kind of make me feel bad. I asked Adam earlier, almost as a test of this thing, what do you want? And of course, Adam said world peace. And I said, well, money can buy that, sweetheart, but I don't have that kind of money. Just to see what happened. And he's like, I don't really need anything. Just love and support. That's all. Magnificent.
Oh, good. I passed. I guess. Yeah, good.
Well, there's no pass or fail. If you said I want a Red Ryder BB gun, I would have got it for you.
You also got me shit too. Don't forget. You got
that's unrelated.
You bought cables. Okay.
We were having some sound issues. Like, just fix the thing. You were forced to go into sort of an orange, selfish thing. Well, what do I want? And you fumbled for a little while. And I kind of do too. I usually tell people, just take whatever money you're going to spend on me, get something for yourself.
That's good.
Say it was from me. That's exchange done.
I'm just I don't like stuff. I consider it an encumbrance, so I need tools, and I just upgraded my PC. That was kind of the thing that I needed. And it's not, I don't need stuff and I don't need money and I do need support, but that's not really a gift that you give. To be perfectly real, I participate in this like a lot of things because it seems like the thing to do because a lot of people get something out of it. But personally, I don't like giving cards and presents for anything, unless you're dealing with like kids under 12, I guess, because they get excited about getting stuff and they don't have access to the capacity to do.
They don't have the means to do it themselves.
Yeah. So that's
to
cool.
an extent.
But I mean, I don't like the pressure that it creates on me, both as a receiver and as a giver. I like, just on the balance. I mean, let's say in relationships, for example, this is going to make me look like a shitty lover, but like,
oh boy,
in the balance of things, if we could just not do gifts, anniversaries, any gifts, birthday, any of that, then I would look better, because overall I do great. But on these little stupid fucking things that are symbolic and mythological, and I don't care about them.
Culturally symbolic too.
Yeah. It's like, I'll come and, help you fix your flat tire. It's not a gift. It's because I'm here in your life and I'm awesome. That's it. What do you, like, you're trying to prove something to me once a year? Like, hey, we're friends. Check this out. Here's some proof. Like, I'm good. I'm happy with this relationship.
In the relationship, like, I've seen you naked. That's a gift.
I pretty much, the moment I recognize that I really need something, I'll go and grab something mediocre nice.
Make it happen.
Guy, but yeah, just the tool that you need, like, it needs to be
right.
good enough.
I hadn't thought before, but I did follow. I sort of adhered to it. Like the children don't have the means to just like, I really want this. I'll save up for a paycheck or two and get it. They don't have paychecks. They have crubby allowance. They got to do
allowance,
chores,
which is arbitrary and unfair. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. But sometimes, they just don't have the means, or like they just physically can't get to the store to get it. They don't have the cash flow to get it.
And then you have
I do see that.
You have fucking Junior Orange meme guys like my dad who would like go buy a box of candy bars at the grocery store and then like on the way to school sell them for 200% markup to the other kids.
Bang. Making it happen.
Because he actually knows that that's so much better than going and digging a hole somewhere. Like, he's already there. That's Junior Orange right there. Beautiful thing.
There's doctors, there's lawyers, and then here I am as a pig farmer. The only way I'm going to make it is by screwing somebody over.
Yeah.
I mean, I can survive, but if I want anything extra, I just need one big score, then I'm set for life. I did find, much like you, gift giving and gift receiving is awkward. When I get a gift, it's like, thank you? Because if I wanted it, I would have probably already had it. I did have to kind of stop doing that as well, because then how many children are in your family tree? As we get older, the children aren't children anymore, but then there's grandchildren, great nieces and nephews.
Exactly. More of them. Always more.
Yeah, it's sort of a repetend thing. Oh, I have one sister, and so now I have a nephew and a niece, and then they have kids, and then they have also kids. Jesus, when does it end? So I do look a bit like a Scrooge because it's more equal to get everyone nothing. You get a firm pat on the back and a happy holidays.
I was trying to think if you could do binary counting, but yeah, that would assume equal output of babies.
Yeah.
The reason I like conflict so much for discussing like altitudes is the immediacy of it. If you think about physical combat, it's like why do people fight? Like, I don't want to get my face punched in. You don't want to get your kidneys injured. Why would people get into combat? And okay, so like watch a combat, right? Like in a bar, it's two people are having an ideological, an emotionally charged ideological discussion. Yeah, so it's an Amber meme. I'm right, you're right. I'm good, you're evil. Fight. And then at some point, someone becomes so emotionally overwhelmed that using their communication, verbal and mind, to have this fight is no longer effective. So now I'm going to suppress you from communicating verbally by smashing your communication apparatus with my fist. That's clearly a change in the situation. We've flipped the table over here. Like,
boy, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, if this starts with an orange meme individual, it's literally like, if you win the argument, you're getting your face punched in. Because if you win, you're going to piss them off so bad that they're wrong, that they're now going to beat the shit out of you so that you stop being right.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
As you win on this stage, and then this guy's like, okay, well, I'm going to come on down here and, nut ya. So now there is orange meme combat, but it's a different beast. It's a competitive, athletic, or like goal oriented. It's like, I'm going to beat you up to get to this point. This is an unpleasantry. This is work, right? That would be like orange meme combat.
You mean like a foot race? What do you mean?
Yeah. Like orange meme would fight, but it's not because they're emotionally overwhelmed. It's because there's a reason to smash a person's communication apparatus, or a reason, like you're blocking me from getting here, and if I break your legs, I can get there without, like, it's pragmatic and functional, and it's not they wouldn't like they don't feel morally justified in the moment. It's more just like, this is a means to an end.
A means to the end. Yeah, a means to the end. Yeah. Makes sense. I haven't actually seen a real life bar fight since I lived in Montana.
Yeah.
In Washington State, mutual combat is fine. Like the police, if you both agree to fight, the police will stand by until someone is obviously losing, and then they say, okay, you won, fella. I don't know what the rules in Pennsylvania are, but yeah, I haven't actually seen like a fight in the wild since Montana, since the Wild West.
And like even in the upper right, this stuff is getting signposted. Like when we have that autonomic response, like fight, flight, or freeze, it's kind of like invoking the superpower of infrared. Like the lowest possible part of yourself is this is like capacity to supercharge emotionally so that you don't feel pain and you can just like use full energy right now. You know, adrenaline's just like, okay, all the energy, go for it. Don't even worry about the consequences of this. Like, this is the big game right now. And so
you're the big show.
Yeah. So
this is my sugar showcase.
Yeah, and that's a tax and a toll on your body. So like theoretically, from a higher level, you want to avoid ever getting there, in the first place, because what really sends us into fight or flight? Is it the threat, or is it our response to it? Right?
Fear.
One guy is going to see a bear and have fight, flight, or freeze. Another guy has more experience with a bear. Like, oh, it's a bear. I better be cautious. But obviously, being emotionally supercharged is going to make me smell a way to the bear that's going to fucking scare him. Mm-hmm. He's gonna go, there's a supercharged fucking creature over here that's sweating like a beast. It must be like something's going on. Whereas before, I didn't give a fuck about that smoke, that soap smelling piece of shit over there. Like, that's boring to me. Like, I just want to get away from that. Now
there's an aggressor.
There's some blood in the water.
There's a 1970s dad with the Coors Light and a cigarette saying, fuck out of here. And then the bear leaves. Jesus.
So these are stark examples, right? Like the infrared autonomic response in the upper right, and the physical combat response as you regress to about lower amber red meme. The flee response coming from like lower than that in general, although it's weird to break that up in that way. So these are sort of natural responses that can be conditioned away, like a phobia can be conditioned away through exposure. And so it's kind of fun.
Are we turning this into Fight Club right now?
It could logically go there for sure, but that's the thing, is the goal wouldn't be to get it. It's more like turning into ordinary therapy, right? Where the goal is to not resort to murdering each other, but to increase the level that you're engaging at things with to possibly one stage higher than the one that you're really currently expressing. So like less stark examples, one of the ones that I really like is as I lose an argument morally in my own mind or in a conversation, I find myself regressing to amber, which is shadow for me. I try to deny amber in the front of my mind, but I will find myself, if challenged, if I get excited emotionally, I can feel myself being, challenged and excited. And I start noticing that I'll consider a person wrong, bad, evil, stupid, insane, these absolute judgments of a person. Wrong, bad, evil, stupid, insane. Dick, right? Well, dick's more of a momentary thing, but in that moment, dick is just dick, asshole, pussy. Just absolutisms. And it's like, why am I doing that? What I was not okay with the sophistication of my position earlier. I needed it to be more consolidated into an emotional reality for me to make sense of the world. That's what amber does. And that's what it feels like. As you use a certain tool over and over again, you get used to using the tool. A person who's good at hammering,
muscle memory.
It's right in. But me with a hammer, kink, kink, it's bent. Kink, kink. Right?
It's bent.
As we get this second tier familiarity with the stage that's expressing now, it becomes like that tool that you're better at using. And so this stuff might sound like the craziest thing you've ever heard right up front. But as you actually watch yourself and you have this altitudes concept in your mind, you're like, whoa, okay, when have I ever called someone evil? It's my emotional response to reality. I don't believe in evil. Evil's a silly thing. Who would do this? Who would be evil? We don't read those stories. We're not interested in that. It's boring.
Pretty deep.
Yeah. It's so regressing from, it's like if you know where you are, and it's hard to know to kind of caricaturize where you're at because it's your reality and it's you and it's true to you. So it's kind of hard to see where you are, but it's really easy to see when you regress. These are very familiar.
I would say after the fact.
After the fact, exactly. Insight's much more difficult in the present. And so you're trying to get that time horizon shorter and shorter and shorter.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're saying that sometimes we show up at second tier and we have this awareness that's growing of stages, quadrants, etc. So now we're in a comfortable place. We're at our center of gravity, or possibly our plateau. We're in a good spot. Now pressures are going to come in. And when I get pressured, I might not be able to maintain full lucid awareness of what stage I'm expressing and what stage other people are manifesting, what the group is doing. I might lose sight of that stuff. And so I'll slip down into my green meme level of functioning. So the way that I'm now dealing with the problem is going to be more meta, more ironic, more not give a damn, more considering both sides. Yeah, more demeaning my own position that I've held, my own biases. But this is still a very compassionate and sensitive position. I'm still, as green, I'm going to engage with you in a way that's very honoring of you and your truth. And it's actually somewhat dismissive of me and my truth. So even though green is often partnered with the narcissism term, it's certainly the most open-minded first tier meme in terms of like allowing people to have a reality. So the first thing that happens when we're challenged at that green meme is we lose that capacity. We lose our sense that the other person has an equal value. And so now we've gotten into petty one-upmanship, dickering. we're arguing semantics and little like I'm right, this is my point, no, you're not understanding my point, this is my point, you thought I thought this, but really what I thought was this. Like right now we're not in a real argument, really. We're spending time. Yeah, we're not charged.
You're big dicking each other.
Yeah. You'll feel a little bit of like, ooh, that pissed me off, that's wrong, I'm gonna get that, and that's you actually dropping down to amber a little bit, like. But the green is trying to comprehend the other position, the amber's trying to destroy the other position, and the orange is just on its own position, fighting, like kind of, trying to suss it out.
Just there in the wings waiting to nut somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, red's, that's there.
Oh, I'm ready.
That's happening.
Let me off the leash.
So now many of us will characterize the conflicts that we get into as these orange meme conflicts, like petty ideological debates where I have a point and a position and a truth that I'm trying to express to you and you're not getting it. That's how orange works. Mm-hmm. And you have a point that you're trying to express to me and I'm not getting it, and neither of us are getting it, and we'll just keep explaining our points and not getting the other point even though we think we do. That's how orange rolls. Very effective though. Like, we're not being offensive, we're not being mean, we're not hurting anyone here. We're just trying to solve problems slightly ineffectively, because we need to have that compassion, right?
I would say without that escalating into shouting and door slamming and physical altercations, it's going to end with someone tolerating the other person's thing. I'm still right, but I'll just let you believe you're right because that's the easier thing to do. That'll end this.
Yeah, diplomacy, right? Orange meme knows how to cut it loose. At best, orange meme knows that. That's kind of the pathology of orange is getting into those ivory tower debates and not knowing how to get out, or those like Facebook back and forths, kind of orange green antics, time wasting antics. And again, you see that these are like not constructive. These are like ways of like, these aren't helping. Any of these strategies can be seen in terms of like, is this helpful or is this like a form of venting pus onto the world? Mm-hmm. From that orange meme fighting, that orange meme conflict, like at a certain point, your position might become offensive to me, morally offensive to me, because we've gotten to the point now where I don't think that we can reason with one another. So we're not at orange anymore. If we can't reason with one another, we're not orange anymore. So now we got to go down to amber, and it's all about my belief versus your belief. There is no more reason here. It's just
there is one right and one wrong. There's
right.
no
right.
There's no wrong. Diplomacy.
Yeah. Either you're on it or you're not. Right.
How would you describe? So you said Facebook got me thinking about internet trolls. If someone feels some sort of way about themselves, and they want to pull people down to that level so they feel the same, or they feel some sort of way about themselves and want to push people down to be above. What would those sort of states be? Are they the same? I want to pull you to my level so that we're both miserable. or I want to push you down to whatever level metric we're using, push you down so that I feel better about myself. Are those
That's
different,
that's
or is that the
interesting.
same?
I think the pull is unconscious. I think we're always pulling people downward unconsciously. But the
Okay.
pushing is conscious and mean and deliberate. It's I'm trying to provoke you to embarrassing yourself. I'm trying to get you to
Mm,
regress.
okay.
It weirdly, it's almost like a second tier sort of antagonism. I'm trying to get you to change it, but it's not. It's that's also that the second tier is not conscious when you're doing that. When you're trying to provoke people to be their worst. It's interesting though. There is sort of an intuition there. It's like, all right. I'm not winning at the game, so I'm going to flip the table. That's kind of how
Hmm.
regression works. Is always flipping the table. Like I'm not winning at the game. I'm going to flip the table,
I'm gonna take my ball and go home. I'm
which
gonna
is
end the game for everyone.
totally a strat. I mean, I'm not. That is reasonable.
Effective.
Yeah, effective, not reasonable, but effective. So yeah, we covered kind of Amber is like, okay, well, the source says this, and I don't even care about this anymore. There is a right and a wrong, and you're either on it or not. The only, like the way to go down from there is to take it out of the collective to the individual and become strictly selfish and say like,
Mhm.
I don't even care what we think. I don't even care what the truth is. Just right now, I need my way. So you can see like for most of us in
God,
our
if you were to say that in an argument, argument over.
yeah, I mean, there's
I
ways.
don't care what the
Yeah.
truth is. I don't care what the facts are. Right now, I just need my way. And if the other person cares, like if the other person is orange would allow that to go,
Yeah.
and or whatever. And then above, it's like that's all you need to say.
Hmm.
I don't need to be right. I never
Yeah.
said I was right.
And I'm just thinking of parents too, like with their teens, you know, and it's just like, okay, all right, you know, pick your battles. Yeah, like
Hmm.
you know, yeah. No, it's not always you don't always have to engage. And Orange, I think, is really good at like just okay, I'm not engaging with this. Like this is gonna do its thing. At the red, like we know red, we're familiar with red. Red's easy. It's when my own personal needs and impulses and momentary feelings have taken control of the situation. I'm compromised. Red is compromised. Like if you're always at red, people expect you to be that way, but the red position is entirely motivated by its own current egoic drive. I'm out of my element. I'm not in a normal functional state. And I recognize that about myself. And anyone who's, you know, typically at orange or green is going to recognize like, wow, I'm really challenged right now. In that state, you'll regress to selfishness, which is, as we've identified, like abandoning the situation is a really good one. Shouting over someone, dominating, breaking the game, flipping the table. This is the red
Hmm.
meme jam. Magenta is just as simple as like, it's kind of a radical acceptance. It's sort of Stockholm syndrome, really. It's like you allow the bad thing to happen, you're a victim of it. Magenta's pretty much just a straight up victim of what's happening. um, and it's interesting because
And
like
that's
that.
why the imagination comes out to like rationalize
Absolutely.
the things about how this is how things go. And so I just rationalize through make believe.
Very complicated sense making because yeah, you have so little like personal power. And it's interesting there though that like that abandonment of everything of responsibility and agency is beneath the aggressive dick swinging stuff. That's it's so
And
important
above,
to
yeah,
point
it
out.
bookends.
Yeah, it's so important to point out like the importance and utility of the ego, the selfish drive. You know, this is something we need. We always need to instill in ourselves as you get this like second tier awareness and you villainize red so much. It's like that's the ego. That's good. That's what defends you and protects you. But yeah, you don't want to regress to being strictly that.